Hello, my dear students. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. So our lesson today is lesson 6, and it's going to be page 56. Our lesson today is communication. So we're going to talk about persuasive writing, but also we're going to talk about our favorite sports, the rules of our sports, and other things. So are you ready to learn with me today or to study with me? Let's begin. So I want you to look at your students' books. And we're going to see page number 56. We're going to look at exercise number 1. We have this argument, but before we read, before you start, read 2 arguments. Who do you agree with? We have 2 arguments about introducing technology into football. So, do you agree with this argument or do you disagree? We have 2 arguments. Let's see them. Let's read the text together. Should technology be introduced into football? So, where A is an argument and B has a different opinion. We need technology in football too. Many serious mistakes are made where the best team has victory taken away from them. I don't think so. Technology could ruin football. Referees watch games to make sure players follow the rules. The reason why I think technology should be introduced is that referees are only human. They need the help of technology so we can get every decision right. I disagree with you. I don't think technology is necessary because it can be expensive. Also, we would spend too much time watching replays rather than watching the game. With millions of people watching and fortunes being won and lost, we cannot allow errors in football. Whether it is played in a park or in front of 90,000 people, football must be played with the same rules. Besides, talking about the mistakes is part of the fun. So in this argument, or in this conversation, we have 2 arguments. We have an argument for and an argument against. So one person in this argument is talking about the positive points of introducing technology into football. The other one thinks it's not a good idea. So here, in our argument, we have positive points. For example, referees take the right decision. This is a positive point. What about the negative point? Technology can be expensive. So this is a negative point. Technology can be expensive. So if you are talking about the positive point or points, you're talking about the pros. And your argument here is an argument for. If you're talking about the negative points or the disadvantages, your argument is cons, or you're mentioning the cons and your argument is against. Now remember, when you introduce your argument, you need to support your argument with evidence. And in order to support your argument with a reason or with a piece of evidence, you need to write words such as, or you need to use words such as because or the reason why. And we write these two expressions before we introduce the evidence or the reason. Could you please just move the slide? Now we have this sentence here, or this argument. I don't think that technology is necessary. This is an argument. Why? What is your evidence? Because it can be expensive. Let's take another example with the reason why. The reason why I think technology should be introduced is that referees are only human. They need the help of technology so we can get every decision right. So again, with our argument, we mention, the positive points, or we mention the negative points. In other words, we write the pros or the cons, or we talk about the pros and the cons. So our argument could be an argument for, or it could be an argument against. If we mention or if we state our argument, we need to support it with a reason and evidence. To support our reason, or to introduce our reason, we use the expression because or the reason why. Now, what do you think? Do you think that technology should be used in sports? What do you think? Is your answer yes? Or is it no? And if your answer is yes, why? If your answer is no, also you have to say why. What is your argument? Why do you think we should not use technology in sports? Or why do you think we should use technology in sports? And what is your evidence? Let's take the following example. I think technology should be used in sports. So here the argument is for. Why? Because it will help the referee or the umpire to take the right decision or take the right decision. So this is why. This is the reason of our argument or our opinion. Another reason. Also, the reason why I think technology should be used in sports is that sports are watched by millions of people and mistakes are not acceptable. As you can see, we have an argument for, and we have two pieces of evidence or two statements to support our opinion. Now it's your turn. You're going to read the writing strategies. Let's read them together. Writing strategy, persuasion. When we want to persuade people with our points of view, what do we need to do? First, think of reasons. We need to think of reasons to back up your argument. For example, technology can be expensive. Make sure that reasons are relevant to your argument. Then write down some ideas on a piece of paper. The second strategy. Then present your reasons simply and clearly and support them with evidence. Use words and expressions like because, the reason why, etc. Now, this is a suggested debate. Look at the picture. Look at the children or the students in this picture. Can you see them? What are they wearing? What is this? What is the boy wearing? What about this? What about this? All of them are wearing their school uniform. But what about this child or this student? Is he wearing his school uniform? He's not. So, do you think students should students wear a uniform in the school or not? Support your argument with evidence. This is your assignment. So you're going to think of this argument. Is your argument for or against? And you're going to write it down. Now we are going to move to our activity box. Let's see. It is page number 42. And now we are going to learn about how to talk about our favorite sports. Let's have a look. Now, write down notes. Answer these questions to help you. Now, this is a paragraph. We're going to read it and we're going to take notes to answer the following questions. When did you become interested in this sport? So we need to know when. What clothes, equipment do you need? What are the basic rules? And what do you have to do and what you can't do? Remember, these are the rules of the sports. How often do you play it? And where? Do you watch this sport on TV? Or do you go to matches? Why do you like it? Now let's read the text together. I started playing beach volleyball last summer when I went to California with my family. In beach volleyball, there are 2 teams of 2 players. The players wear t-shirts and shorts, but you don't have to wear shoes. You have to hit the ball over a net with your hands, but you cannot touch the net. Teams can touch the ball more than 3 times before it crosses the net. Players can touch the ball twice in a row. A team scores when the ball touches the ground on the opponent's court. The first team to win 2 sets wins the match. Now, I do indoor volleyball. Playing indoors is tough because the floor is harder than the sand. When volleyball is on TV, I always watch it. So now let's see what are the notes that you have taken to answer the questions. Now, when did you become interested in this sport? What is your favorite sport? And when did you become interested in it? So in this text, it is, the writer says that he became interested in this sport last summer. Now, what about the next question? What clothes or equipment do you need? What are the basic rules and what do you have to do and what you can't do? So here, the writer says that in terms of clothes, the players need to wear t-shirts and shorts. Do they have to wear shoes? No, they don't. Also, what about the rules? What about the equipment that you need to use? You need to use a ball and a net. And what about the rules? What can you do and what you have to do and what you can't do? You have to hit the ball with your hands. So this is one of the rules. But you can't touch the net. Now, what about the last question? How often do you play it? Where? Do you watch this sport on TV? Do you go to the matches? Why do you like it? The writer says that he does indoor volleyball. So he plays it or practices it indoors. Does he watch it on TV? Yes, he watches the matches on TV. And what about you? Is there a particular sport that you practice or you do? Why do you do it? Where do you practice it or play it? And what equipment does it need? What about the clothes that you wear while doing it? And how often do you practice it?